So today I'm with Mike Bonin, and we're in Montreal, Quebec, and we're having a visit of another model railroad in HO scale. This one here is quite substantial, Mike. You've been working on it for quite a while?
Yeah, I started in 2000.
In 2000?
Yeah, and with the help of a few of my good buddies there, within no time we were operating.
What's the concept of your railroad?
I modeled the Blue Mountains on Union Pacific,
yes,
out of Oregon.
Yeah.
And a lot of areas, well, I did some industrial areas that are not there, but since I wanted operation, I did some freelancing in there.
Mm-hmm.
And but the rest is based somewhat on the Blue Mountains with the grades and 2.25% grades and mid-train helpers, and so, a lot of fun.
That's awesome. So when you decided on the type of layout you wanted to build, how is it structured? Is it point to point or around the room?
Technically, it's continuous because of the storage.
Yes.
But it's point to point.
Mm-hmm.
I got through freights that leave from each end. Yes. And they come back to their destination, and that's it.
Okay.
So it's like I modeled between Incle and La Grande.
Okay. Yeah.
So a train will leave La Grande, get the mid-train helpers on later, a bit further out.
Mm-hmm.
Do the circle and come back to Ingle.
Okay. And how many industries do you have along the line?
I got 3 industrial areas.
Okay.
One of them is a lumber mill.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is paper mill, because I like the paper industry.
Yes.
And I got a general mixture of different industries, an area. Yeah.
So I take it the concept is a little bit more modern than most of the model railroads you've seen. You have a tendency to look at groups of cars versus individual cars, or do you have it in a single car?
Well, I modeled between 1977 and 1979.
Okay.
So from January 1st, 77 to December 31st, 79. So it's a 3-year span.
So a lot of the industries are, of course, a little bit larger scale, and there would be
some
a few
of them
more.
are larger scale, some of them are smaller scale, because a lot at that time there was still quite a few small industries being served by rail. So the regulation was.
It's kind of interesting that you picked the Blue Mountains specifically as your topic. How did that come about?
I've always liked the mountains.
Yes.
And well, I always liked Union Pacific since I was yay big. Yeah. And you know, I checked it out. Sherman Hill. Well, everyone seemed to be doing Sherman Hill and all that. So here we got the I call that West La Grande.
Right.
And
so the train's coming out on the lower level.
Yeah, that's we're going uphill. So my mid-trains are all tacked to their trains right here. Okay.
So it's a helper service.
Yeah.
And then where does it go from here then?
Then we go uphill.
Right. And you got the mandatory workbench built in.
Yeah.
And it's in good stage of status here. Lots of stuff. So it continues upgrade, comes through this little tunnel right here.
Yeah.
And continues up the line.
Continues up the line.
Okay. Oops, sorry. And it comes out.
Here we got the steepest part of the grade.
So the train comes out here?
Yeah.
And the steepest part, what percentage would it be roughly coming up here?
2.25%.
All the way along here. And how many feet is it covering when you're going along? It's a good 25, 30
about
feet?
25, 30 feet.
Wow. So you get to really watch the full length of the train and not feel like you're engine to caboose.
Oh, yeah. Got to be on your toes too. Yeah. With the curves and everything there. You don't want your train to string line.
No. And then you're going upgrade into the curve over here.
Yeah, you continued along the track here, around through the forests, and
So you're really up in the mountains here.
yeah,
So this is the crest of your grade right up here then, is it?
yeah.
Okay.
Here we go down to about 1.5.
Okay. And then it loops around.
Loops around, and we end up at the siding.
Okay,
It's
that's
a
how.
triple, well, it's
Oh, you got some a nice little creek and river going on here with some deer. Okay, so what do we got here? This is the siding?
Yeah. The main lines are middle track,
Yes?
and you got your two, a bit as UP practice there, the sidings on each side.
Yes? Yeah.
And you also got further down the line the spur that goes to the lumber mill.
Right?
And then we continue.
I see a Union Pacific train on the move there. Just it moves slightly. So you've got some grade in the back there?
Yeah,
that was
there's
interesting.
A slight grade, yeah.
Yeah, I just saw it slowly. I thought somebody might have been operating a train there for a second. So then the train continues to wind up grade.
Yeah.
And
then we reach summit on the other side.
okay, so this is the summit of that 3-track. That's quite a long passing siding up there then, eh?
Yeah, well, I average about 40 to 50 cars, depending on the type of cars I have on there.
Okay. And that triple track runs
Right up to here.
right up to here.
We get to Ross.
Okay. That's awesome. Continue to wind along the top, so it's basically folding back on itself,
Yeah.
and it runs on the upper level now and continues along.
Yeah, that's a part of the scenery that I still has.
Have some work to do. Yeah.
Still has a few hundred trees to plant.
Have you made all your own trees?
Yeah.
What technique did you use for your trees?
Telephone wire, sisal cord,
Yeah. And winding it?
winding it, trimming it,
Yeah.
black flat paint, and woodland scenics.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good technique. It works really well. Now we got a really built up town here. Playgrounds. What does this town represent then?
It's freelance. It's
Yeah.
part of Sheldon, the industrial area. So I wanted to give an area where there's life,
Yeah, and some switching to do too, by the look of it, eh?
all kinds of little scenes and.
It's okay. You know, what were you going to look at?
I was going to remove the uncouplers.
Oh, come on, they're a necessary evil. I see you using Rick's uncoupling sticks. Do you find they work well, or do you prefer the
I'll use both.
other? Yeah. I notice your industrial trackage is quite something here. You've got a lot of little curves and bends in it.
Yeah, well, if anyone I've worked on the railroad quite a few years myself. And
Yes.
hanging around a few railroads, and I never saw a straight industrial track in my life.
So you worked what railway?
I started off in '78 at CN,
Yeah.
and I transferred to Via Rail in '87. So did 38 years at the railroad. So.
Get a lot of natural interest in it then.
Yeah, well, at the end there it wasn't the same, but
Yeah.
it was a good job.
Yeah. But it's nice to be able to have to carry your job into a hobby as
Yeah.
well. That doesn't happen often. A lot of people can't do that for sure. Well, that's great. You want to see some trains running and we'll get some shots of it?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.